Welcome to The Shield Within. The issues discussed on the Shield Within podcast do not reflect the opinions of any specific agency. They are the views of the host and the guest. Any persons discussed may be fictional for comedic purposes only. This podcast is rated explicit and listener discretion is advised. Listening to The Shield Within may trigger repress or suppress memories or experiences. Please contact a mental health professional at your earliest convenience. It's time for the chaos to cease.
Time to open yourself to peace.
From the hours you've put in.
To the next shift you begin.
From the endless pursuit of release.
That finds the worst unleashed.
Transform the ugly into a win.
Get to know your shield within.
And we're back. Welcome to The Shield Within.
Welcome.
We are super excited. I know, Donnie, fuck you. I know you hate when I say that, but I'm super excited. It's a great episode. This is our second half of a two-part series we're doing with our great friends at Spinning Our Gears podcast and Turk over there. Say hello, Turk, if you're on.
Hello, Turk.
Hello, Turk. And we also have Captain Fabulous with us.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
And the beautiful man himself, Dr. David. But this is our second half, and welcome back. Sorry if you had to wait till the 15th of the month to get here, but hey, we're here anyway. So if you're on the interwebs, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I hope you're not interwet.
Yes.
Turk makes me interwet.
Hey,
shots fired.
Okay. Get those little handy wipes out, you know.
Speaking of
party
which,
till you're sticky.
Yes.
Did you see that shit where that officer was masturbating on duty and filming it?
Yes. Wow.
What was his fucking exit plan?
I'm just glad I never got caught.
Was it Super Troopers episode 2?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I saw that on our good friend
That's
Erica.
crazy.
Shadows Behind the Badge had that on. I'm like, what the actual fuck? See, this is what happens when you start scraping the bottom of the barrel. And OnlyFans, and that's what the guy was doing, wasn't he? Was doing it for his OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Could you imagine being that guy's supervisor and saying, look, dude, what are you doing in there punching a fucking clown and videoing it? Really? What part of you're fucking fired do you not understand?
Hope he made a lot of money off that.
Oh my God.
I've got a great masturbation story, but you're doing the intro, so we'll get that in a minute.
Do I want to ask?
Oh, it's funny. You'll laugh.
Oh, okay.
And it's not me.
Okay. Did you see the anxiety of everyone's face here? Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. So, www.shieldwithin.com. And if you want to touch yourself and look at Hedgehog Donnie, you can do that there. Facebook /Shield Within, or if that extra $5 and change laying around in your console, hey, you may as well put it to some good use. And go to Patreon /The Shield Within. Also, our Midnight Cruise, our road dogs, we love you. We love everyone else too on second day ship, but our Midnight Cruise, we love you. We appreciate you. And if you're listening to us at night, please take a photo and hit me up on any social media platform. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook /Shield Within. Send it to us, and we're going to do, and next year we're going to do a little bit of a social media blast. Shout out to our friends in Texas, Chris and Jason. They have the names top of my head. We have our friends from Illinois. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you're needing a little help, life's getting under your skin, you can talk to Dr. David. He is available, aren't you, Dr. David?
I am taking new people.
Yes. Awesome. You can go to our website and hit the coaching button, or you can go to lessonslearnedcoaching.com, and Dr. David's got 50 years experience as a licensed clinical therapist. He's now doing coaching. But I can tell you what, I've been David's client for too many years. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today if it wasn't for the man sitting across the table. I can honestly say that. He kept me alive when I really wanted to canoe my forehead. And probably one of the hardest things I ever did was the day you told me you're retiring. But I can't express how thrilled I am to share the microphone with David each time. So anyway, I'll quit being all sappy. So we're going to get right now. Bro, it's everyone that Mr. Hat, whenever I turn Mr. Hat onto you, and after your first session with Mr. Hat, he called me up and he's like, bro, where'd you find this guy? So I didn't. Brian Gray found him, and we just such a wonderful experience. David, your worldliness is pretty unbelievable.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone that's ever the feedback that we get from you, from people that work with you, and you're all telehelp, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of going in office with David, and what the hell was that place? This house, Turk, was enormous. It was up in Sydney, Ohio, and it was 4 stories? I mean,
Yep.
I can't imagine living in this place. It was huge. I had been 4,000 square feet, and his office was at the top of this beautiful grand stairway. But my first time walking into his office was full of apprehension. But it was the best thing I ever did was get in therapy. Absolutely best thing I ever did. But and it's been a journey. I'm still in it today. David's now my friend, and we're rolling along.
That's great.
So, Turk, what's happening, brother? Episode number 2?
Yeah. Are we still doing your intro though?
I don't know. Donnie cut it off somewhere. I started talking, and I'm getting drunk. So Donnie cut it off there. Okay, go ahead, Turk. What's going on?
Well, let's go ahead and hit record, shall we?
I'm still wiping the tears from the last episode.
I know.
So
yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Good. It was
I'll
good
shut
from the heart.
Fuck up.
Oh, I can't pee. Okay, all right. I got another hour.
You can pee.
I can hold it. Go ahead.
It's kind of.
I thought
kind of.
you gotta pee.
No.
Does it burn when you pee?
No, I have a small comb with me, and ointment, so it's all good.
Well, you told me it was the consistency of pureed bananas.
Might want to go see a doctor, bro.
Yeah. Dr. Dave.
Psychiatrist and penis doctor.
I'm closer to an obstetrician.
Well, on that note, welcome back to the Spinning Our Gears podcast. This is part 2 of an incredible 2-part series where we are partnering up with the Shield Within podcast. I forgot to mention this from the first show, but some of you guys are seeing some kind of goofy lights here and a goofy shirt.
Yeah.
I like
We're recording this literally days before Christmas.
Yes.
You all probably won't hear it until February, but I hope that you all had a very good holiday season. I hope that you guys have a good holiday season coming up here.
Thank you, sir.
You too.
We are going to jump back into the discussion when it comes to foster and adopt, law enforcement, psychiatry, and this kind of great world that we've created. I'm rambling here. What do you guys
Can we get you out of it, Turk?
I can ask a question, Turk. So,
Yeah.
when adopting, and the 3 that you have, is how did they take accepting you as a police officer?
Wow, good question.
The kids?
Yes, the kids, the kids that played with other kids, and that whole association.
So my oldest, we had him right away from a baby. Mm-hmm. And there was no, I guess, transition there with all of that.
Okay.
He, just like any other child that would have grown up with a police officer. The other 2 were pretty young. And, as we know how trauma affects the brain, I don't know that they really remember a lot from coming into our house. All 3 will talk about their bio parents because we've been open and honest with them about everything.
Awesome.
But I don't think that they truly remember any of those people. So I really think with the younger 2, it was kind of the same as the oldest one, that was how they were raised. They were, my wife's going to kill me if I get this wrong. I think 1.5 and 2.5 when we took them.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not wrong there. Oh my God. But it was
right. We
very much,
you.
it was just them being raised like any other child with a police officer.
Okay.
a lot of the same questions of, did you catch a bad guy today type thing. So I would say it was pretty seamless.
Okay. On my side, it was the same way as what you're experiencing with that. And she wouldn't say at the beginning, but she was awful proud during those times of what we did, but the lives that we led too. So we were always fair to our coworkers and to others that we dealt with that, and we also brought it back to the home. So, the nurturing part and what we did, and it was that extra special mile. I think you can relate to this. Is what we did for our kids because we knew where they came from. So it seems like we always had to provide better and better and better and do what we needed to do and have that acceptance and that caring portion with that. And it goes on to this day. You say she'll soon be 19 with that. And just a wonderful child. We couldn't be blessed with a better daughter with that and being accepted throughout both families, from the wife's side and my side with that, and how we keep moving forward within the life, and then what she wants to do and choose with that, and you're probably feeling the same way as you always want to give the best for that.
Yes.
And working those overtime shifts and providing that extra money to make it extra special for that because of the journeys that you and I both been through up to this point. I'm not saying that any other parent wouldn't do the same thing, but it's just those steps that we had to do and to harness that time with them.
Well, but what I want to say for both of you is just how much I respect you guys for opening your hearts and homes to give those kids the life that they got. That man, that is just awesome.
Yeah. Just
mad respect for the both of you. It takes a special person, especially someone from law enforcement. And really what I want to point out and to celebrate was that a lot of people, they talk about the police officers, and we always talk about the stories where we went that extra mile to help a total stranger and the things that we do. But it takes that, you guys have that extra blessing. So what you do is you take it that 5 steps ahead.
Right. Yes.
You've opened your home, you've went through the steps, you've brought, a good life to children that wouldn't have that life normally. Greg, you went international, and Turk, you went local. That story was just, you should write a book. I mean, just talking about that alone, that experience, and I'm sure Dr. David, it's just like, that's like, wow. And what a lot of people don't understand is what they see this cop on the street and they immediately get this attitude, or what they think that how they need to interact with you based upon impressions that they see in the media. And what they don't realize is that we all just want to do our job as cops. Why'd we get into this profession? I wanted to help someone. Well, yeah, but then we
save the world.
Yeah. But you guys legit are saving the world in your own way from your own home. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and I'm just so in awe of the both of you.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know about Captain Fabulous, he spends so much time. He is a dedicated servant of God, man. This guy volunteers his time on so many different associations and boards, and I thought I was a networker. This guy makes me look like a chump. But
I went to your field training.
No, stop.
On that. I take some pages out of your book, as I would say there, Mark. So yes.
But no, man. Greg is Greg's done so many different things, especially with the Law Enforcement Officer Memorial Committee. I mean, he served on 2 committees at once. I can go all the way down his resume, but where I'm going with this is that especially for you, Turk. I mean, you opened your home. And I really loved how real and how raw and vulnerable you're allowing yourself to become on the show. And that just makes me respect you even more, is that, what you're doing for these kids and providing the life and, being that leader for those children. And I'm just in awe. Thank you very much for that.
I want to thank you for that. But at the same time, something I have to kind of work through it's a lot like when someone says thank you for your service.
Yes.
As a police officer.
Yes.
You don't know how to respond to that.
Right.
Especially for me, because I was very open to adding to our family. But from what I had seen on the job, I was very reserved and guarded with the foster process.
Oh, yes.
I know that my wife was all in, and so she was definitely providing that nurturing side of things. I was very guarded, not only selfishly for myself, not wanting to get my heart broken, but being concerned for her. I knew that if we gained an attachment to these kids and they went back, it was going to be bad news.
Oh my God.
So I would say for the very first, I don't know, maybe even 2-3 months, I was very guarded. And I can see that to this day with those children. I love them with all my heart. I know that they love me too, but I can tell that they have a much closer connection with her because she was so open to them.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And I was more guarded.
Right.
So when people tell me things like that, and I do hear that, you know, the respect for taking these kids in, I feel kind of guilty because I know how things started off.
Then get off the microphone, bring your wife in. I'm just fucking with you, brother.
I know.
No, it's okay to feel that awkwardness. And again, I mean, it's just more respect for you that you're willing to be that vulnerable to express that. Okay, because in people that don't understand, you know, and I totally get it, and I'm sure the cops are listening to this and like, oh fuck yeah, or some cops are like, oh fuck no, I would never do that. You know, it's how many police officers, and now that I'm off the job, and you know, Dr. David and I went up and saw Kevin Hines, and I'm gonna bring this up again, sorry, but you know, the people that were coming in there, you know, was a lot of people that when I was on the job,
Yes.
I would have never engaged.
Right.
But now that I'm off the job,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and it's taking it down a notch and realizing your humanity. And I don't know how to express this to younger officers coming in, but like I was sharing, I'm taking classes. And the class I was with today, or the class that I've been with for the last 2 weeks, you know, just kind of, they got a little taste of Marc the Cop the other day, and I was a little too oversharing. So yeah, they were like, I heard the gasps from the back of the class, but you know, we get, I don't know, kind of an attitude as police officers. We don't want to be around those people, but I think if we had a little more empathy and a little more caring and a little more love in our heart for those folks, I think that the world will be a better place. And that's where I'm just really respectful, and I'm in awe of the both of you, that you've done that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lesser person because I didn't do that. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Does that make sense there, Dr. David?
A little bit.
Yeah, go ahead and jump in.
I mean, everybody makes a contribution. Everybody here at the table, including Turk, has made a contribution to the lives of people that you don't even know. I mean, to assume that each of us, I mean, like you and I haven't been foster parents, or like we're lesser people than Turk, and Greg and Turk do not want us to feel like that. I can guarantee that.
Okay.
They are going to want us to feel, like I'm saying, that our contributions were every bit as valuable as theirs. It's just different. And what Turk has decided to do is become an officer and a foster parent. Yeah, that's a really small percentage of humans in that category.
Great stuff.
And Greg, same thing. Taking in an adopted kid from across the world into his and her home, yes, because she's in law enforcement too. That had to be huge. But it's no bigger than what you and I did day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, serving the people in the communities that we live in. And so, dude, each of us here has made a contribution.
Right.
And each of those contributions is valuable. They're different sizes, different places. Like Turk, I'm sure, looks back on his functioning as a father at when those kids were 1.5 and 2.5, and he didn't like looking at that movie. But I bet he's a different dad today, aren't you? Because you were
try to be.
Because you were guarded then, you're absolutely not guarded now, are you?
I think my personality will always be a little guarded.
Oh,
right, and that's I'm not necessarily saying that towards my kids in particular.
Okay,
but just overall,
in general,
yeah, and going back to me as a kid with things that happened back then, I think has kind of transitioned to now. But when it comes to where I've come from, things have definitely progressed for sure.
That's you've grown.
I pray to God every night that we can provide these kids the most, how do I word it, the most best blessed lives.
Yeah.
And then I ask that I can be the best father.
Absolutely.
Because I know that I have work to do.
Yes.
No one's perfect, but I know that I have work to do more so than a lot of others.
Right.
So I'm at least cognizant of it, I guess, now that I've rambled some more.
Well, I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
Every day's a therapy day.
Yes.
Every day is a day to be a better father. And every day is a day to be a better husband. I think, the foundation of a home is the marriage. Period. Because that's what kids talk to me about is how's mom, how you get along with mom? How do you get along with dad? I get answers. How's their marriage? Then you get a novel.
Oh, wow.
Kids know their parents' marriages way better than the adults do.
Wow.
And in foster homes, I met so many foster kids who had been through so many homes. They could walk in, and by the time they went to bed the first night, they knew the parents' marriage status in that home. They pick up on cues instantly. Is this a safe environment? Is it not? Who can I be comfortable with in this house? Who can I not? Man, they learn that shit right away.
Wow. But it's their ability to be adaptive.
Absolutely.
And it all gets down to safety.
It's survival.
Exactly.
It's what they're doing. Yeah.
It sure is.
And your wives, both of you, those kids walked into homes where the moms were the shit. I mean, they were awesome. They made the bonding work. Because you guys, and I know Greg's wife was in law enforcement too, so absolutely, at least this applies to her in part. But man, you guys are out working lots of hours, doing lots of crazy shit, walking around the house with unresolved trauma, most likely. And your wives were taking care of every damn thing, probably starting with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the sacrifices that were made
Yes.
too. I mean,
my
you're
God.
working, you're getting ordered over, you're working the holidays, you're doing other type of stuff, and here's the children going, "Where's Dad?
Yes.
Where's Mom at? What's
Exactly.
going on?" Or you're halfway through a meal, and all of a sudden you got to go.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is the adaptive stuff that they kind of learn because of being a public servant within that world is how do I adjust with that? And that's why on our side is with our child and the age that she's at right now and what she's lived through with that is a phenomenal daughter with that. And that's the side of that she knows with that. And the chosen profession of the future Dr. Dave, which we're proud about, down the road. I think she's going to write a thesis on me probably one day. So, with that, with it, but it's stuff like that we're out there and what we're doing. And like you said, Dr. Dave, is their minds are sponges and they're picking up on these cues and everything else to do this. And we don't think they do, but they know.
Well, another thing to add on, Turk, is that how old are your children now? You said
6, 7, and 8.
Right. Okay. So you're in that under 10 range, which, most of the kids they're all naturally mama's babies at that age.
Yeah.
But the older they get, they will start relying on dad. And, the male patriarch of a family is a different role than the mother. So I wouldn't take a lot of angst, if that's the right word, if the kids don't have that bond with you right now, because there's going to come a time when that bond comes. Like with me and my kids, my baby is 30. My youngest is 30. Yeah, I'm old as fuck. But, her and I, we talk almost daily. But we talk about things in life, and I always said when she was 16 to 18, I swore to God I was going to fucking kill her because she put me through the paces, man. I mean, the daughter of a cop, number one, that's problem enough. And she made some really bad decisions. And she got herself arrested a couple of times. Just, again, bad decisions. It's very humbling. And, boy, she was just putting me through the ringer. But, they're at the age to where you're not going to whip their ass. I mean, you just have to teach them as a young adult to make the right decisions.
Right.
And it's challenging. Everybody thinks about being a parent is, they talk about, the terrible twos and, how they are when they're 3-year-old. I'm like, I'll take that all day long to an indignant, 15, 16, or 17-year-old, because that's where the parenting comes in. Go ahead, Greg.
And Turk, your wife, I applaud her for, being a cop's wife with that, worrying about 3 kids, worrying about you on top of that, juggling life itself. I don't know what she does with that, but whatever she does, being there, stay-at-home mom, or with that, it's just my hat's off to her. I mean, at least I knew with my wife is, we live the same lives. We know what the profession's all about and stuff like that. But, her heart is so open wide for you and for those 3 kids with that. It brings tears to my eyes just to hear what you stepped up and what she does every day for you and that family with that, and then what you provide back to her and for them for that loving home and stuff like that. I just super proud. I'm see you got me saying super proud now and everything else. So sorry, Donnie. Awesome. So yeah, super excited. So yes. So with that, super excited.
Because yes. Turk is super bad.
He is. So it is.
I'll tell you what's super bad is my retired canine is trying to gas me out of this room right now. Oh my God. For those of you watching on YouTube, and you should be watching on YouTube, right. The reason I'm over here looking down, the reason I'm looking down is because he's trying to gas me out right now.
You don't have a fan in there?
No, because the microphone will pick it up.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Poor guy.
What I want to say to that, though, is, and I've got a question for you here in a second, but I do have to give that shout out to my wife. She was a teacher beforehand. Okay. Once we brought kids in,
yes,
she immediately said, "I'm going to be a stay-at-home." Yeah. And
good.
When we brought in our 2 youngest, I was on overnight shift, and she was very big on allowing me to sleep, which is huge. But on top of all of that, on top of all the other things going on, one of the 2 children had hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that, over 100 medical visits that they had to go to.
Oh, wow.
That she was shouldering by herself.
Yes.
She knows the university hospital in and out at this point. So I have to give that shout out and just how amazing she was in this whole process and in shouldering that. I don't want to call it a burden, but that taxing time.
Taxing,
yeah, that's tough.
So
I mean, and having that balance, finding that balance of being able to take care of you, because especially our midnight road dogs, man, we love you guys, and it's getting that sleep, having to balance that with court, and kids and family, and some of these kids, some of these officers, they live in a small house, and the kids screaming and carrying on. They don't realize Daddy needs a sleep. So you get used to working
with that.
Yeah, and that's
I don't know how she handled the mental mind fuck of the schedule. Not only my schedule, but the schedule she was handling with those kids. I don't know how she did it. So, honey, if you're listening, I hope you are. I love you,
and she will be.
Thank you so much for the work that you put in.
That's great.
Yes,
like golf applause. Like golf applause.
Absolutely.
Yes, good. And that takes you to the 4 F's, Mark.
Well, right.
Yes.
We always talk about on the Shield Within the 4 F's, which is family, faith, friends, and favorite activities. And sounds like you have a good, strong family and faith-based.
Yes.
taking care of those family activities and balancing that with your friends, and hats off to you. Those 4 strong legs to have on the floor, as Dr. David taught me in my counseling sessions, is you need those 4 strong legs, and that gives you good balance, because that's an even balance of the weight of the tabletop. Now you can get by with 3, but when you lose the 3rd, then that table's starting to fall. And I remember when I first walked into David's office, I only had 1 leg on the ground. But he cultivated that, and you start learning things. And the purpose of our podcast, The Shield Within, is to show people that therapy isn't bad. That many times you listen to one of our episodes, it's a lot like a therapy session. We all agree with that? I mean,
Absolutely.
especially with Dr. David, we swear. When I walked in, I sat down in that guy's office, and I was there maybe 10 minutes, and you started dropping F-bombs. I'm like, I like this guy.
This is the one.
I like this guy a lot.
As long as Turk's K9's not dropping bombs on you, you're good over there, right?
I don't want to subject that to anybody.
Did you give him some chicken nuggets there, or what?
No, changing food.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I can tell you guys have dogs.
Well, Turk, I got to ask you a question, because I just had my darling little puppy. After 17 years, she crossed the Rainbow Bridge last Tuesday, and I haven't been dealing with it well. Me and that little dog went through a lot together, and it's just a special place in my heart for canine handlers. The shit that you go through with your animal. And they're working dogs. So working dogs are big dogs, and they only have a life expectancy of 8 to 10 years?
8 to 13.
Yeah, it's just like, man. How are you prepared for it? I just can't imagine losing that partner. That would be a hole in your heart that's just so hard to fill.
So, and I talked about this in our canine episode about how it's a different stress. Excuse me. It's a different
smoking
stress.
a bong on the show, Kurt.
Oh, I'm day 3 of a cold. I'm just getting over it.
fucking
It's the dog.
He's gassing out.
I like it.
I can taste it on the side of my tongue.
He was used for SWAT entries, gas.
It's a different stress having the dog back there and being concerned about every little limp and every little, this and that.
Yeah.
But they are a different kind of partner.
Yeah.
And I talked about it that first day being in a squad car, not having him there was very, very hard.
Yeah.
When I went to my new agency, my first day was with their current canine handler, and I was driving. We had to get up on it, and I instinctively said, "Hold on, Havoc," which is not that dog's name.
Oh, wow. That was your dog's name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we almost had to pull over is where I would get there.
Oh, wow.
And luckily, him going through that same bond with his dog, he understood it. He got it.
Yeah.
We didn't miss a beat by any means. My wife and I have had dogs since we've lived together. And I will say our first dog, after 11 years, we had to put down because of cancer last year. And it was one of the most difficult things I've done in my life.
Yes.
I am so very fortunate that Havoc was not, hurt or killed on duty.
Right.
Yeah.
But even knowing that one day, probably sooner rather than later, that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm ready for it. And that's a long-winded response to your question, but no, I don't think that I'm ready for it.
You're never ready for it. It's like Millie was part of our family for 17 years. And, we watched her starting to decline. And my wife's like, honey, she's not eating. I'm like, well, she's 17 years old. And at first I was kind of cavalier about it. It's like, well, it's kind of the end of the line. But then it's kind of like, holy shit. So within just a couple of days, it was kind of like it's time to take her up. And, we kind of wrestled with what are we going to do with her. So what we finally decided to do was to have her cremated, and we have the remains here with us. And Susan bought a nice little urn for her. We kind of have a little spot for her. But I am really amazed at how hard I'm taking this.
It's tough.
Like,
it is.
My goodness, I didn't think I would be in this mode a week later. It's like, wow. And the thing about going through therapy, it was a lot easier when I was shut down.
Yes.
It's a lot easier when you have your emotions shut off, because you just stuff that in the Pandora's box and move on.
Right.
But now that the emotions are out, it's kind of like, oh my God, I feel again.
Yeah. So
how do I shut this down?
When our first dog got cancer, it was 2-3 days prior, you would have had no idea there was anything wrong.
Oh, yeah.
She was running around like a pup. I took her for a run, and we went 2 miles. And the next day or 2 days later, she was limping. I thought maybe we'd pushed it too hard and she was, strained or whatever.
Right.
Well, then it got to the point where she wasn't bearing any weight on it.
Oh, no.
On her leg. So we took her in to the family vet that we've had our entire lives, who we love. And they did an x-ray, and they said, this doesn't look good. This looks like cancer.
Oh, no.
And I remember the anger that I had, which was completely misplaced. We love this vet. But it kind of internally, fuck that, Right. And I said, well, we're going to go get a second opinion. And we did. We went and got that second opinion, and they said, yeah, we're going to confirm that it is, and it's spreading quickly, and bone cancer spreads very quickly in dogs. So I had to call the original vet back, and the compassion they had was incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get it out over the phone what I was calling for.
Yeah.
But they knew, and they handled it very well. So yeah, I understand what you're talking about with that very quick matter of days. It's a world-changing thing, a life-changing thing that you don't expect.
It is.
No. Well, for those that are listening, and I have a little bit of survivor guilt, I chose to. I'm taking a class, and if I went to be with the dog during that process, it would have really put me behind. So I elected to go to class instead, and my wife stood up and took her up there. But the after effect is I got this guilt feeling that I let my baby down, because I wasn't there with her. But be with your pet, everyone. Yes. If you're going to do that, be with them. Don't send them back there, to be alone. They need to be with you.
Yeah.
And although it's hard, you will get through it. But it's just so sad. Is the bond you build with those animals,
right?
Is I think kind of a building block of life.
Yeah.
But with canine handlers, it's like, goddamn, dude, how do you do that over? And especially canine handlers that have multiple dogs. Right. I mean, I don't see how you do it. That's a special. Another special place of respect. It's like, good Lord.
It's like adoption.
It takes a crazy type of person.
Yeah.
And you're totally nuts, Turk.
Right.
Makes me love you even more, brother.
If I were to ever do it again, it would be after Havoc is gone. I don't know that I could. Yeah. And he's adapted really well to being a pet now, but I don't know that I could ever take another dog in and have him see that, and me going to work with another dog and him being at home. I think, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask Captain Courageous there, being that you adopted from another country.
Okay, yes.
you adopted from another country,
right.
And without giving too many details, our youngest two are not the same race as us.
So is mine.
Being a cop, raising someone from a different ethnicity, how did that impact you? Good, bad, both, I guess.
What a great question.
That's wow. We were very fortunate with our families, with my wife's side and mine, is our daughter, when she was brought up in the environment and schools that she went to. She went to some private schools for this, and the school to the north of us, we have it was very small classrooms with this, and the backgrounds were from all different types of countries because we have manufacturing plants, we have doctors, we have everything else. So she really wasn't in a position to say that I'm an outcaster in a Caucasian school district. With this, is she went to a school to where there was Indians, kids from India. There was kids from Syria. There's kids from Japan and everything else with this. And then as she progressed through life with that, went to another school with that, to where all different kind of backgrounds with that. So she didn't know really type of discrimination. She just thought everything was normal because a couple of her good friends is one a guy, he was adopted from Germany with this, and it's just an acceptance of life. Her best friend now is from Japan that she met there at school, and learning those cultures and everything else has kind of well-rounded her with this. But it's been kind of a neat journey of seeing her kind of progress through her life. Looking back, we've mentioned about where she came from. I was just sharing with Dr. Dave and Mark the memory book of when we got our daughter back in 2005 with that, and taking those pictures, and we share it with her. There might be one day where she might want to travel back with that, but very much Americanized with that. Wants our lattes every day, and as we move on with stuff, but it's neat to see that progression for that. And I was more concerned about her in acceptance and with her friends of her mom and dad being in law enforcement.
Wow.
Our law enforcement times, we've been through some rocky years. From the George Floyd movement with that, to defunding the police, and how we looked upon as being police officers with that, and what did our daughter think of us in our profession with that, with the kids that she ran around with for that, and were we one of those type of cops? For that of, on the eve of showing up at the doorstep of removing that child from the home, taking, mom or dad to jail because of domestic violence and stuff like that. And it didn't come to that, which was good for that. So it was very humbling, with the process with that. She knows what we do for that, and very proud as we move forward for that, and trying to be there for her at all of our events. Might be that guy standing in the back of the gymnasium listening to my radio, we'll watch her play a sport or something like that. But when it comes to the end of the shift with that, the uniform's hung up, the gun's put away, the radio's turned off, and we are fully in of being parents with that. You make those sacrifices to do that, but also when you spend quality time, it's also quantity time with that too. Yeah. So it's just it's that type of nurturing environment of where we've been and what we know, where we're going with that, and seeing those children grow because we're providing the best care that we can. I think
it's amazing that you were more concerned with her worldview.
Yes.
On you and your wife being police officers and feeling that repercussions from kids.
Correct.
Because I know my kids, I was glad that I wasn't an officer in the city where I lived. All right. When my kids graduate, I finally moved down here to just the tip. So they didn't have that, but they still felt that anyway. But that's just all part of growing up. When your dad's the police, So they have a different experience than the kids do. So good question, good answer too.
I've got this weird anxiety, I guess, with my side of things, and my kids are still young, so it's almost like what's going to happen in 10 years. The whole perception of cops is part of it, but then also I've got friends of different backgrounds, and they talk about the talk that they had with their parents, and I'm thinking, I've never once come across a cop who was racist, but do I need to have that talk with my kids?
Yes.
And then excuse me. Also, the
dog shit on you again, didn't he?
Yeah, you have no idea.
I have the same problem with Dr. David.
Thank God I can't smell.
I have this weird anxiety, if my wife takes the kids out, no one's going to bat an eye. But if someone sees this, with kids of different backgrounds,
Right.
I'm afraid there's going to be that Karen that's like, he kidnapped those kids and calls the cops on me and makes it a big deal.
That's right.
Yes.
I don't know why.
I know. I know where you're coming from with that, because you do. You have that. They're looking at you and saying, what's wrong with this picture? Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have the same thoughts, and always will.
But like with you and I and Dr. David, I mean, we're of the guys on this side of the microphone. We're of that Leave It to Beaver and Ozzie and Harriet years of America, right? And that was an image that was projected to us,
right,
of what's air quotes normal. And I think that the nice thing about right now is that family is what you make it. You know, do I have to have blood relation with you? You know, especially right now, we're in the end of the year.
Right.
It's, as we're recording this, we're a week away or two from Christmas. You know, when the times of family is supposed to come at 4 days. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so stupid. I told Greg, I said, this is next week. He's like, no, motherfucker, it's tomorrow. I'm like, oh, shit. Anyway, my pre-Alzheimer's. But, you know, we have this image, right? And what is your family?
Right.
And I can tell you, I'm closer with Captain Fabulous than I am with my own blood. I can tell you that, you know. But what is the image of family? And family is, I think, what you make it, the people that are closest to you. So, you know, with nowadays, there's nothing wrong with having a mixed bag, but as long as it's your people, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be this cookie cutter.
Right.
So go ahead, Turk.
I hit it on the head, absolutely. And I was going to bring that up in the first episode when we talked about, you know, DHS wanting the reunification of blood family, but it does not take blood to make family.
No,
Right.
no.
Obviously, you know, we've all been protective of our wives, but when it comes to those kids, man, jeopardize them and see what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I would
right.
be in prison
Absolutely.
before you hurt those kids.
Exactly. You know, and that's the thing about with law enforcement. You know, we are calm men that are capable of great violence when it needs to be done. I mean, it isn't something that you do all the. And I've never thought I was a fucking fighter, because I'm not. I'm not. But you know, through my years, have I been scared? Goddamn right, I've been scared. But I pushed through it. And you know, I'm not going to let that motherfucker think I'm afraid of him. You know, you're in charge when you walk into that room. But yeah, you fuck with my family, you're going to see a different kind of person out of me. A very protective person, and you need to be that way. Go ahead, sir.
But Turk, just know that your kids are proud of what you do, even
Absolutely.
though they don't say it, even though they might not, you know, show it, but they are. And
they do.
and that's great, and that shows a great support for you, knowing what you do every day, that they support you with that, and your wife and stuff, and that makes the family even stronger.
Yeah, they are from the little things, you know, walking through the door and they want to show you the pictures they drew that day, or to being out in public and they see someone else in uniform and they go, "Dad, it's one of your cop friends," even though it's someone from a different agency that I don't work for.
But that's good. That's good.
So I absolutely feel that all the time.
Yeah.
Little self plug, what Mark was talking about with that calm men and capable of violence. I'm hoping by now, when this episode airs, my book has been published. If you liked what he talked about there, please go out and read my book, because I think you're going to like it quite a bit. If it has not been published, please wait and wait for it to come out, because I think you're going to like it.
That's great.
And I need to get off my ass and get mine done. You know, with my personal story, you know, our mutual friend Nick, he gives me shit like almost daily to hold me accountable to get it done. And with my story, it's still so traumatic. It's so close to the wick. So it takes a lot of energy for me to do my book, because mine's more autobiographical. Am I saying the right thing there? But I know we spoke the other day, kind of like the three of us were texting Turk that with getting yours done. So congrats.
Mine took
I know that's a lot of work. It
took about 4 or 5 months to get done, and the first half of it got done really quickly, and then it was just finding time to sit down and do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a book about leadership and mental health and some of my personal experiences with that. So just that little plug. But
awesome.
Well, but leadership and mental health, those go hand in hand. So we can sit here and we can quote Yates all we want, and I would quote that man 24/7. Dr. Travis Yates is who we're talking about. But leadership and management are two broad, different perspectives, and it's just like doing the right thing. It's like the definition of integrity. It's doing the right thing when no one's looking. And leadership is the same thing. You aren't there to tell people what to do. You're there to support them.
Right.
Good leaders bring people up, and that's one thing.
To be that mentor.
Yes.
Exactly. Man, mentoring is such a lost art.
Yes, it is.
And I was talking with a guy in my class, and he's an auctioneer. So, they had a mentor program being an auctioneer. Well, the old hats didn't want to bring the new guys up because now they're creating competition. But in law enforcement, that department's been there for 100 years. It was there before you, and motherfucker, it'll be there after you. But a good leader realized they're just part of the transition. You're only there for 20 years, 20 or 30 years, and then you're gone, right? If that department's been there 100, you were there for this period of time. And what message do you want to lead or leave is bringing that person up. And, like Captain Fabius's former agency, the one leader there, when you say his name, you can watch the old hats and they all smile. That's a leader. Just saying the guy, oh yeah, man, and they all had stories about how this guy, and it's taking care of your people. And I saw a meme that where the attitude nowadays is not only the discipline. Okay, give me the discipline I earned, and then let's be done with it. But for some reason now, and I don't want to get down a rabbit hole, but I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move off of it. But why do we need to just go over the top? Why do we need, okay, now you're in trouble, but why do we got to burn your house down and shoot your dog too? Or prevent you from getting a job after this? It's like, I don't understand that part of it. I fucked up. All right, I got it. Let's move on. Let's get back to nurturing and building that self-confidence back up so we don't have that problem again. Go ahead, Turk.
It's because those people are faking it and not making it, and they are concerned that you are going to expose that.
That is awesome.
And they know that if they're exposed, they're done.
That's awesome. And
I know
it's a
that
very
we're
true
getting-
statement. Go.
I know that we're getting a little bit close on time, but Dr. Dave, I got to know, in your 40, 50 years of experience in working with law enforcement, with broken law enforcement, and broken foster kids, what were some of the similarities that you saw between those two sets of people?
Wow. Great question.
When I thought about doing this show this evening, this is exactly what I thought about. In your home, in every foster home in America, are groups of children with unresolved trauma. In every law enforcement person's home in America, there resides a person who's walking around with unresolved trauma. And the intersection of the way that trauma, the people that live with people with unresolved trauma, like your wife, for example, perhaps, those people are probably experts and could teach doctorate level classes on what does it look like when somebody has an unresolved trauma in their brain.
Wow.
How do they behave? How do they talk? What are their thought patterns? How do their emotions work? What's a relationship like with that person? How does it change about every 5 minutes? Does any of it make a lick of sense to you?
Yeah.
So to me, as I kept thinking about this, Turk, your wife, I mean, she's a woman, and I'm going to straight up tell you, my assumption after working in the field I did is that every woman I meet ever is a trauma survivor. Every single one.
Wow.
It's a universal experience in my experience in the office working with families, couples. Women go through stuff they never, ever tell anybody about. And so there's whatever it is she's gone through, hopefully nothing, but probably something. Is it something she's ever going to share with you? Not necessarily. If she was in my office, I'd tell her not to. Because it's old, probably. Had a woman who was in the Air Force. She was involved in an incestuous relationship with her biological father for 3 years, ages 8 through 11. She started to grow pubic hair. He withdrew. She had a lot of stories to tell. And she ended up marrying a man who was a volunteer fireman with unresolved trauma. She then married, before that, she had married a man who was a Marine, Special Forces guy. He had masses of unresolved trauma. They gave birth to a daughter who was a rape survivor. Her new husband gave birth to a second daughter who was sexually assaulted on the way to school. So all of them were living in the same house with unresolved trauma. And to me, that's what it's like to be a foster parent. Every kid that walks in your door has more stories than you want to hear. And that child is living a life internally of memories, emotions, thoughts, pictures of self, pictures of self's future. We have no idea what the fuck those kids have gone through. We have no idea what the fuck policemen go through. It's the same thing. And the behavior patterns look to me very, very similar. The emotionality and not being able to connect it. The kid all of a sudden just goes off. In the middle of the evening, everything's quiet. And the 12-year-old boy up in the hallway just like explodes. What the fuck is that? And the mom and the dad runs upstairs and it's like the kid is just foaming at the mouth. He's just angry. What was it? I don't know. The kid could cite this, that, or the other thing, or the truth is the kid has no idea. And as the parent with your own unresolved trauma, that has to provide moments for you, bro, where what that kid's going through you can't know, and yet you do, because it's similar to your own experiences. There are things that happen in life that stick around whether you like it or not. And when you decide to become, as a law enforcement person, you decide to have a foster child or 3 in your home, you're inviting fellow companions on the road to growth. All of you are working towards the same goal. And for those foster parents who take kids in, gosh, I had this one set of foster parents in a community not too far from here. All they took in, the only foster kids they took in were under 1-year-old. They were burned.
Oh, my God.
Scarred. I mean, at one, what they had gone through, obviously they couldn't talk about it. Thank God for the people caring for them that they couldn't. Because you look at a 9-month-old baby who's been bruised and battered, it messes you up. It changes the way that you look at the world, life itself. So for those parents, they were amazing people. The mom was made of gold, man. She was an angel. The guy was he was awesome. He was great. But he was gone working, and he would come home, and his wife would be there with a 9-month-old baby, bruised up, whooped on. And that's what they did, was they worked with that little kid, that baby. And to me, what you and your wife did when you took in those 3 kids, what Greg and his wife did what they took at that child, you invited people into your home to ride the ride with you. And because you're all riding the same ride, and y'all know where you're going, I'm smiling, bro.
Yeah.
Because where you're going to end up with those 3 kids is a beautiful place, because you've all ridden the same ride together. You've all gone through your shit. You all resolved your shit, and you resolved it by loving each other and being intimate with each other and learning that, this is actually more powerful than the shit I went through. And so to me, that's what I thought about all week long was foster kids and cops. Who the hell is living with these people? I mean, my God. Every single person in the house is walking around with a minefield in their head.
Yeah.
How do you know when it's going to trigger? Kid says something on the bus at school. All of a sudden, the kid comes home. He's been fine when he walked out the door, fine all day at school, walks in the door, is like, what the fuck is happening? You don't know. And your wife knows sometimes. You come in from a shift and you're like, weird, man. Mm-hmm. And she's got to ask, what the fuck is up with him? And it's the same trip. So to me, the thing I kept thinking about was, man, you all walk the same walk. You've all been through the same kind of shit. Foster kids and cops, yeah.
Right.
How amazing it is that I get to know a man and his wife who are law enforcement people, one here at the table, one here on the screen, who have decided, no, this isn't enough to be in law enforcement. I want to do this now.
Right.
And you do it with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole commitment. And by working with those kids, you work on you.
So with that, I've been thinking for a week now about this kind of message that I wanted to relay to other law enforcement personnel. And I want it to make sense and not also break down crying. You talked about how a lot of foster families don't know what happened with that child when they get it.
Yeah.
Because I knew the officers that took our children out of the environment, I was privy to the specific details. And one of the things that I think so many peace officers out there don't understand, and we didn't even talk about the DHS thing like we were going to, you have that frustration of all of these cases you think the kid should be taken out. And you finally get that one where DHS says, yes, we will take the kid. You package that child up and you hand them off to DHS. And then you go to the next call.
Yes.
What you don't see
Take your time, bro. Take your time. The words are hard.
What you don't see is that child walking into a house with everything they own in a garbage bag or nothing.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
And like I talked about before, that pain and that fear. Fuck.
It's all right, bro.
You're on it, bro. I love it.
You don't have to see that.
That's right.
Just remember that half hour, that hour that you're with them
Yes.
can be incredibly impactful.
Oh, my God.
And understand that they're going to be going through a lot more even that night and for the rest of their lives.
And that 30 minutes you spend with them can be 30 minutes of loving, or it can be 30 minutes of scaring. And to be extra jacked up sensitive in those situations to every word, every facial expression, every tone of voice. Yes, you're absolutely right, sir.
Yes.
As a
You just know that you're making that impact.
That's right,
all.
man.
Yeah.
And it can go good or it can go bad.
That's right. That moment is going to be remembered by that child for at least the next few hours as they go through absolute chaos.
Yeah.
In the next few weeks, next few months. Yes. If that officer walks in the door and they communicate safety and reassurance, it makes a huge difference.
Sorry.
Bro.
Nah, man, this is what we're about, bro.
That's right.
This is reality.
I felt it would be wrong to not send that message out there before we close things down.
Good for you, bro. I'm glad you did. And you did it beautifully.
Yes.
Amen.
Is there anything else that you guys want to cover then, I guess, before now that we ended? Do we want to tell the masturbation story?
Yeah, fire away.
For those of you
From tears to cranking one off.
He said, "Fire away." Hold on, Mark. Stand down. Stand down.
For those of you who signed on to Spinning Our Gears, you didn't get to hear the intro with Shield Within, so you have to go over and listen to their intro to understand what that all meant. But
Wow. But
no, I want to thank you guys for going on this journey with me.
No, thank you.
Sitting down for 2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
And I hope that we got some sort of message out there.
Yeah.
And I hope that we did something good here in those 2 hours, if not just for ourselves, for a lot of other people too. So
Damn straight, bro.
It's helped me out tremendously.
Well, I think to kind of summarize is that I appreciate your vulnerability and being vulnerable. And I've always talked about, and that was one of our things in couples therapy, is that our therapist says, Mark, you refuse to be vulnerable. And the only time I'm ever vulnerable is on the show. So thank you for that. I mean, man, you had me going, bro. But it's real emotion, you know, and it's the beauty of this program with the Shield Within is having Dr. David there as that person that can steer you through that emotional fog, because you know, and it takes big hearts to do what we do. And I never made that analogy that foster kids, cops, you know, we're both fucked up in our own right, you know, and it's a special shout out to the wives that deal with us. We went there on the Shield Within with the wives on the line. We did 2 episodes there, and man, I had a good feedback from a colleague that's a lieutenant. It's like, bro, dude, that was fucking heavy, man. You got brass balls to do that. And I'm like, well, but I think it's important. And it's just like with this episode, I think that it's important that people need to have the message that, look, this is how you and Captain Fabulous are choosing to live your life, and it's very commendable and it's very honorable, and I respect the shit out of the both of you. And I appreciate the fact to be able to share a microphone with you and get this message out. And I think this is a great episode. You know, it's heavy, just like a lot of the subject matter we talk about, but that's what we're here for. And you're not the only one that experiences that. And the purpose of these 2 shows is just to share with our audience that we're all people, and these are the struggles that we go through. And it's not like anything self-induced, but this is just a slice of life. And thank you both for doing what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. I think on that note, fellas, I think it's time to not only tell everyone to stay safe, we'll get to this together, but also to tell Donnie to cue that music.
May your days and nights find you strong and safe. May you take your place as your family's face. As you do the shit that we won't do. As you embrace the risk you must go through. May you grow in strength and heal and find your heart, your soul, and your mind. You look at your life and grin. You have a home. The Shield Within.